Hey, we're doing it live tonight. Welcome to Tim's Corner Live. That victory lap was so nice. We had to see it twice. Welcome in Tim Terry, Denver MacEachern, and some guy that's not Dylan Langell that was in that open. Greg McKay, welcome to Tim's Corner Live.
Thanks, Tim. Fun to be here.
We've been, I shouldn't say we've done this before. This is a little different, but we've done this at Scotia Speedworld back and forth a couple of times. We actually did it with our first guest 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago at Scotia Speedworld. So you're used to this. You're used to kind of the hot seat. So what are you expecting out of tonight? We got some good guests. We got a stacked field. What are you expecting tonight?
It's nicer to be up in the booth. Nobody can see you. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited to hear what Drew's got to say about their schedule this year, and Megan's always a pretty good time. Should be fun.
Should be fun. Denver Matchett, what are you looking forward to tonight? We've got Riley Goodwin coming on. Randy Millar, we should mention off the top of the show. Randy had some technical issues. The laptop that he was using, I don't want to say confiscated, but it disappeared. So he is not with us tonight. He will be with us on March 29th. So that'll be a start for him. But for all those Randy Millar fans, stick forward here. This is going to be a good show. But he'll be on March 29th. But Denver, what are you most anticipating here tonight with our three guests?
Well, I have to say I was disappointed that Randy dropped out, but of course looking forward to having him back next week. He's one of the TCM Most Popular Driver award winners from PEI, along with the likes of James Doucette. So looking forward to next week. But Riley Goodwin's filling in on. We went from 177 to another 77. Riley Goodwin's a huge name in New Brunswick stock car racing. The Goodwin name itself, lots of championships, lots of wins. Riley's a fourth generation driver, excited for that. And, Megan Parrott, one of, I think, the most underrated and best drivers in the Sportsman class at Scotia. She is phenomenal and really looking forward to hearing from her. That's a driver I've got to watch some, but not a lot. So I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, the Drew MacEachern, that was one of the first guests I said to you, Tim, that maybe we should look at getting him on. So I hear there's some news coming tonight. That's always fun. We like to break news here.
Yeah, absolutely we do. So we're going to get to that in a moment, but we said off the top of the show as well with our package coming in. Last week was a rough week. We lost Cyril Hall and we lost Brian Spite. Our thoughts and prayers are with both of their families. And Denver, you kind of chatted before we came on air. I saw what John O'Shea did with the Drive On podcast. I never got to listen to it yet. But for those that want to have a tribute to Cyril Hall, go over and check out what John has on there, because that's a pretty neat deal. I know you listen to it. Everybody needs to go over. If they don't like Drive On podcast yet, they need to go do it. But that's another reason why.
Absolutely. John did a phenomenal job. Cyril Hall had such an impact in maritime racing, and that impact for a period of his career was also at Speedway Miramichi, as it's now known, but it was during the McKay Speedway era, and he played a pivotal part in shaping the track to what it is today, as he did with many tracks throughout the Maritimes. So a great loss. Same with Brian Spite at Speedway 660. Like you said, it was a tough week, but John did a phenomenal tribute. It's more so centered around Miramichi, but not to get lost in that is the fact that Cyril played such an important part everywhere. But I think listening to what John has to say about Cyril, who he was hoping to have as a guest on the Drive On podcast, you'll really get a feel for what he did for racing, particularly in Miramichi, but that applies to all tracks. Any track Cyril went to, he made it better. And that's why he was so popular and so in demand, and, definitely a sad loss, and we're all going to miss seeing him around the track.
We've heard some great stories over the last week or so about Cyril Hall, and I'm sure we're going to hear some over the next couple of weeks and months as we roll into the 2021 racing season. But if you have one, we're live and interactive. Drop it in the comments down below, and any questions, comments for our guests this evening, you can do that down below as well. Greg is here. He's not Dylan, but he is here to field all those questions. And I think if you can handle Scotia Speedworld for a couple of nights, Greg, I think you'll be okay here.
You got a few of the Scotia regulars already chiming in here over on your Tim's Corner.
Who do we got?
I got Tim Webster saying hi, everybody. And Jason Pickles talking something about him wanting sandwiches. I don't know.
Yeah, we said you might be bringing sandwiches.
So full disclosure, it came to a point this year where it was either like the budget got shrunk, the racing budget got shrunk. So it was either sandwiches or tires. And well, what's more important?
Hold on. You don't have a race car right now, do you?
Well, no,
what do you need tires for?
Well, exactly. So I figured if I sold the race car, I would still buy sandwiches.
So, you just didn't bring sandwiches. I mean, we're within driving distance. There's a border and whatever in isolation to get to Denver, but I mean, you could have brought us sandwiches. Paul would have taken sandwiches down in Connecticut if we could have got them to him.
My mother has spent so much money on sandwich meat in the last 5 years that I could probably be driving full time for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. So,
but I'm sure we'll talk a little bit later about your racing plans or whatever you have for the 2021 season. But we're going to, I know Drew is chomping at the bit to get on here. So we are going to get a hold of our first guest of the evening and bring him on to Tim's Corner live. And it is the driver of the number 13, traditionally on the East Coast Mini Stock Tour and at Scotia Speedworld. And he is the president of the East Coast Mini Stock Tour, and somebody that has we had beards on this show. I think Drew's is just slightly better than mine, and it got better since the meeting that we had in January over at Passion Flooring and Interiors. Drew MacEachern is with us. Drew, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
So far, so good. How's your winter been so far, or at least since we last talked in January?
Just hanging in there, man. Just waiting for the spring to come, the good weather to come. Looks like it's a good week this week, so.
The week has come, the weather is warming up, and it seems like everybody gets that itch to go racing. So are you ready for, I guess it's May 29th. We already kind of discussed this at the meeting in January, but are you ready for May 29th yet?
Yeah, we're definitely moving forward. Looking good with the bubble, I guess. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, we're getting everything in order, and everything's coming along good.
So for those that are watching on Facebook, we are live and interactive. We're on the East Coast Mini Stock Tour Facebook page. We're also on Scotia Speedworld and Speedway 660, two of the racetracks that the East Coast Mini Stock Tour will be visiting this season, as well as Tim's Corner Motorsports. So we kind of teased last week that you were going to bring us presents. Yep. Not for us necessarily. Greg didn't even bring us sandwiches. What's up with that? Did you get a sandwich yet tonight?
No, I didn't see any deliveries coming up to my driveway, so
I was kind of waiting for it too, but I guess we didn't do it. So let's start with some contingency awards, and we talked about this earlier today, and we're going to get Paul to pop it up on the screen. East Coast Mini Stock Tour has a Hometown Hero Award presented by Joe's Racing Products and Canna Connect. Not only are they two new sponsors to this series, but it's a $75 award every time we race this season. And it's going to the local driver that might not necessarily be a full-time guy on the tour or what have you. Explain a little bit more on what the winner gets and how they win that award.
So calling it the Hometown Hero, and Joe's Racing jumped on board with us this year. It was pretty. I reached out to them, and I pitched the idea to them, and they thought it was a great idea for to help out on this award. So they're gonna donate some tire gauges, some new Joe's Racing tire gauges for the award, and also they're gonna give us some swag and stuff for some t-shirts and stuff for the season. So that's pretty cool to get them on board. And Canna Connect's coming on also, and we're gonna give $75 to that hometown hero, hometown driver, and they're gonna pair up with us also and try to get a local military hometown hero. Try to get them out to the track and give them a couple tickets and let them check out some racing and try to have a good day.
And this is huge too, because with the rules package expanded, obviously we didn't race last year, so we didn't get to expand that rules package. But if you're a sharpshooter, or if you're a four-cylinder at Lake Dowsett Motor Speedway, or Sydney is doing their hobby stock class where it's a four-cylinder class, if they want to come and race and they meet the rules, that you might think, hey, I can't compete with Cody Byrne, Dave Matthews, Jesse DeVoe, Mike Edwards, list goes on and on. Rob Poirier is looking at a couple of races this year. You might not think, hey, I might not be able to compete with those guys, but they also have that Hometown Hero Award that they can shoot for every race now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just another incentive to get them to come out and check us out and try it out. And they might be pleasantly surprised, they might be might not be as intimidated, maybe, and come out and check it out. It's just a pretty cool award, something different for the drivers, and maybe they get them out for their local race. Maybe they come to another track and race with us at another track, maybe, and check that out, and hopefully to get some more on board.
Now, before we get to the schedule, I know you've been working the phone all day long ever since we talked about mid-afternoon, but Giles Auto World is back. EIT Race Radios is back. They are on the contingency awards. We mentioned Joe's and we mentioned Canna Connect, but EIT and Giles Auto World are back, and they've been with us essentially since day number one. Talk about their involvement and what they're going to do on the contingency side too.
Yeah, Wayne Giles back on board for the pole award for basically if you win the pole and you want to try to start from the back and come back up through, we're going to give I think it's we had it last year. I think it was 25, basically $5 a car, $25 for every car you pass or 5 cars you pass. So come back up through and then throw in a little bonus if you end up winning, come back and winning the race. So that's pretty cool. So Giles Pole Challenge, be back in. We had a few people take it the last time we had it, and I tried it once there, and it's pretty cool to come back up through, and help support Wayne and stuff, what he does, and yeah, EIT is they're back with the hard charger, so somebody starts from gain the most positions during the race. They don't necessarily have to win, but to gain the most positions. They win $100 for that. So we're going to bump that up a little bit this year. We basically had $50, I think, last year. So we're going to do it $100 this year. And yeah, that should be pretty cool too.
And that's the great thing, because it's kind of spreading around some of the dough per se with some of these drivers in middle of the field and hometown hero and hard charger, and might give somebody a little bit of extra money to come from the back of the field. So it's always great to hear that. Before we get to the schedule, I want to bring Greg McKay in, because I'm sure he's chomping at the bit with some people on social media that are chiming in. Greg, how's social media doing tonight?
We got a couple questions over here. Let's see. We got good question for you, Drew. Brent Patterson wants to know if you've ever rolled your mini stock.
Never rolled my mini stock. Nope.
Have you ever rolled a street car that you're willing to talk about?
Nope. Never rolled a car.
Can we talk about 2011 at the Atlantic Championships? Are we allowed to do that?
That's
no.
That's got nothing to do with rolling a car there, Tim.
You rolled it at a gear, right? Does that make sense?
On there, Greg.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on. Moving on. Jordan Vino wants to know if Drew still looks like a hobo. I think we've confirmed that's a.
Yeah.
He's going for the Joe Thornton look, I think.
Yeah. Joe Thornton, or it's. I think I'm a little more than Tim there, so that was kind of the goal there.
Yeah, I can't keep up to you. You're way ahead of me.
No, that's an old look there. We got some breaking news on the Tim's Corner Facebook here that Jesse Leclerc is going to be running some tour races this year and can't wait. That's pretty big news, I think.
That's
PPI.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Jesse also wants to know how you win the Hometown Hero Award. That was just being the highest finishing local.
Yeah, highest finisher local car. Yeah.
So Jesse, if you win in PEI, you win that award. 2 birds stoned at once.
Or if you finish 3rd or 4th in PEI and you're the highest finishing local, that's. Yeah,
no, you got to beat that Burn guy when you go over there.
That's definitely going to be a good rivalry to see tour race over there with those guys. Should be good. Looking really forward to that race.
Has there anybody been asking Greg about strut hats yet? Has Colin Brewer made his appearance yet?
Nope, nothing there. Just some excitement from 660. Gordy Ryan says hey, and Neil Noose and Ned LeBlanc is saying hello from down that way. They're looking forward to.
Good to have Gordy tuned in. One of our partners at Maritime Car Wash here on Tim's Corner Motorsports. I want to thank Gordy. And you had the hat on earlier, Greg. We're not going to bring you on camera once again, at least right now. But I want to thank Andrew Lively and his partners at Presidential Ventilation and Quick Wick for helping us this season on the Tim's Corner show. But that's enough about me. That's enough about us. Let's bring the schedule up, because I know everybody's been watching and waiting for this. Here it is. It's a busy schedule. And the one thing that I do like about this, and you can check out this schedule either later on tonight or early tomorrow. As you can see, I haven't had a whole lot of sleep in the last 24 hours. but 7 racetracks in 7 dates, and they're the first 7. How cool is that, Drew?
Yeah, it's it worked out pretty good, you know. It's tough doing some juggling around, and honestly, we probably could have had a 15 race schedule if we wanted to. It's hard to turn down some races, and there's other places I would like to have gone and stuff, but you know, 11's pretty hefty, and it's going to be good to spread it around to the different places and be traveling around this summer.
I see Robbie is tuned in as well. It's technically spring. We'll get to that comment in a bit. But Oyster Bed Speedway, I know you've been working on this for the last couple of years. How cool is it to head over there? A, not only is it Oyster Bed Speedway, B, it's with the Maritime Pro Stock Tour. So how cool is that?
Yeah, that's going to be a big weekend, Canada Day weekend too. So hopefully all the restrictions are off and everybody's safe and have a good midsummer race there, where it's going to be a big race. You know, there's lots of mini stocks over there, and we're really pumped about finally getting over there and getting on that track.
Big J's Carpentry and Burn Plumbing sponsoring that race as well. So welcome to them,
Yep.
not brand new partners to the series, because they've been on the LDR cars for the last couple of years, but brand new partners to the series side of things. So thank you to them.
Yeah, and Burn Plumbing's they're sponsoring the race, and Big J's is presenting sponsors. So although we got a little something in the works for that, I think Big J's wanted to you know, support the local cars and stuff. So I think we might do some more bonuses for some local cars over there as a presenting sponsor. I don't really want to.
Don't let the cat out of the bag. Pretty much.
Yeah. But it's definitely going to be some more addition to the hometown hero. There's going to be some more bonus sponsors for that, and that's what we're trying to do a little more of that this year, getting presenting sponsors to come on board with a little extra cash to go right back into the local guys, or you know, bump up the purse a bit. So it's going to be a big race.
Season opener sponsored by Brent Enterprises as well. We should mention Glenn and Brenda Knott, and we mentioned their involvement with Canada Connect and the Hometown Hero Award. Looking at the schedule, the end of the season, Pubs Drive Through Bottle Exchange is back. That was a late call today. I want to welcome back Bob Calhoun and Pubs Drive Through Bottle Exchange for 2 races on Speedway. So that's big. So not only do you come up for one, and that's been the Maritime League of Legends Tour is in the same boat too. They are going twice this year on Speed Weekend, and that was the big, I guess, discussion, and I'm sure it was with your teams too, and you can kind of elaborate on it, that you go up for one race and you're either going to stay up overnight at Speedway 660 on Saturday night, or you're going to travel all the way back to wherever your hometown is. You're going to burn Sunday either way. You're going to be sleeping half the day, or you're going to be traveling or whatever else. You may as well stay up for an early race. So hats off to not only you guys, but Brent Roy and the Roy family for allowing not only you guys, but also the League of Legends Tour to stay for one more race. And then Riverside at the end of the season. Everybody loves Riverside. Rob Poirier was talking about it here a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot to be excited about. Lake Dowsett Motor Speedway on August 8th. As a driver, put your driver hat on instead of putting on your series official hat. What are you most excited about this year?
Definitely PEI for sure. Yeah, getting over there and you know, getting some more guys from over there to come over and join us at some other tracks and stuff. And definitely AMPE, the road race at the end of the year in Atlantic Motorsport Park. A lot of drivers and we're really excited. Are really excited to go back or go there for the first time. You know, on the road course and. Not going to be a points thing this year, but if it works out good and they invite us back next year, we'd like to put that into the mix for the points. So that would be, you know, make it a little more challenging for the drivers. But those are the real ones. I'm excited for. I'm excited to go everywhere. Is really you know, really thank all the tracks for supporting us. And, you know, Brent at 660 supported us right from the beginning. And, you know,
because originally
go back there three times this year, you know, to open it up there with Glenn coming on board to help sponsor that one, and then pubs jumping on for both races at Speed Weekend. That's huge too. So I want to thank him for that. And it's really good to get, you know, their support, and we like going back up there. There's lots of plus this year with the different cars, you know, letting the different cars in with us too. The domestics come in when they meet the rules, and we're really looking forward to that too, because, you know, there's some close races between those two type of cars up there. Once you put them on race rims and you know, even the rules a little bit, you know, there's going to be some really good racing this year. I think I'm really looking forward to that, you know, mixing it up, you know, with the cars.
Yeah, especially at 660 when you get guys like BJ Gillespie and Matt Martin and Max Hooley and list goes on and on of those drivers. Brody Levesque, if he still has his race car, to really go head to head. It's going to be a great season, and it all starts on Saturday, May 29th. With the Brent Enterprises season opener. We'll have all the schedule information and what have you on the website either late tonight or early tomorrow. So you'll have an opportunity to take a look at it there and take a deeper look at what's going on this season. But I'm going to hand it back over to Greg, because I'm sure social media might be a little bit of a blaze. Every time we release something, it seems like there's at least a couple of comments over there. Greg, what are you seeing?
I mean, we're blowing up over here. It's out of control. Travis Keefe, I don't know if anybody really wants him to race on the tour, because that car is a lightning bolt. And I think if you put him on the high banks of Riverside, look out, people. Travis is looking forward to doing some races and wants to thank Drew for getting the tour going. Steve McDougall's big thumbs up for AMP. I feel like there's some excitement there.
Yep.
Jordan Vino has chimed in and says, if you find him a mini stock car for AMP, hopefully this time it won't look like stuffing a strawberry into a pea pod. So I'm assuming there's
always legend car.
Yeah. I think we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, Jordan's been saying that he wants to get in a car for AMP. So.
Well, I mean, Jordan, I know you're listening. Fords are allowed on the mini stock tour now. So if you were to squeeze yourself into a Focus or a pull out the probe from back in the junkyard somewhere, I think you could have yourself a time.
Yeah.
And he's running pro stock this year too. So he's running pro stock, he's running Sportsman. He may as well throw a mini stock in there. Why not, right?
Really go back to his roots.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about AMP, because I know that's the buzz. It's on there for 2 dates. Now we don't have the release on the website yet, but from what we talked about earlier, September 18th is going to be the practice and the qualifying day per se. And then the 19th is going to be your race day. So for those that are thinking, hey, I can hop in on the 19th, you really have to be there for both days, right?
Yeah. We're going to, exactly like what you said there. We're going to have practice and qualifying heats on Saturday, and you know, hopefully camp overnight there. And they have no problem with us, everybody camping there. So hopefully get everybody camp out and have a good time, and then race on Sunday. It's going to be some practice Sunday morning, I think, and then the feature Sunday afternoon.
And I think Mark Williams can attest to it, because I think he was the only one, or at least right now, that has a mini stock that raced there when AMP had the Maritime League of Legends Tour. You don't want to go in there cold turkey, especially going down the back straightaway into 10. It's one of those corners that'll make a man out of you. You want to be there on Saturday to practice, or any opportunity that you do have to get out there and practice. So go out there and do that. I want to say hello to Tony Garvin. I see he's watching on the Tim's Corner feed. So if you're with us, we're live and interactive. We've got a couple more minutes here with the Iron Man, Drew MacEachern. Drop us a comment, a question, and we'll get it on the air with Greg. Denver, you've been quiet over there. You've seen a lot of these mini stock races. You've seen some tour races. You got anything for the Iron Man besides the beard compliment? Because I know he's coming.
Well, first of all, I just want to make a comment about like the diversity that you guys put together with your schedule is incredible. I believe like you guys hit more tracks than any other touring series, and that's really great to see. And you take a mini stock class, which is at most tracks one of the entry level divisions, to elevate it to this level is really phenomenal. So hats off to everyone with the East Coast mini stock tour for what you guys have done. And there's a lot of exciting races out on the schedule. Like you mentioned, Tim, there's a bunch of undercards for pro stock races and the doubleheader speed weekend. But Drew, I want to ask you, you've run pretty well all of these tracks already, maybe except for PEI and whatnot. But what do you find the most challenging track on the tour?
Most challenging track. I would have to say Lake Dowsett for sure. It's got to be up there for sure. Riverside is challenging. I mean, it's intimidating at first, but I think gets pretty comfortable once you get there. Sydney's not an easy track to get around fast, you know. I think we talked about this before. Some guys that race at Scotia seem to get around there a little more because Scotia is another hard track to get around. But I'm kind of biased because I've raced at Scotia for a lot of years. So, I mean, Lake Dowsett's definitely up there because it's definitely a rush. Yeah.
And with those hometown drivers that are coming up too, obviously when we go to Lake Dowsett, Steve McPhee and JJ and Shay are going to be the drivers. I don't want to say to beat because we've got some good regular drivers that are going to give up a challenge for them. You mentioned Sydney, guys like Josh Rozicki, Cody Quinn, Josh Banak. They're going to be good when we go up there. Daryl Hume, our reigning rookie of the year, coming back this year as well. But the one question that I think we've got all the schedule stuff out of the way. We've got all the contingency awards. There's more to come. There's 2 months before the season. One question: who beats Dave Matthews this year? Or does Dave go back to back? We haven't had a two-time champion. Is there anybody that can beat Dave Matthews?
Yeah, well, there's quite a few guys that could beat Dave. They just got to put in the dedication that Dave does, you know. And there's a lot of those guys too, you know. Cody Byrne for sure, you know, and Jesse's strong. And, you know, I'm not ruling out any rookies that are maybe coming and joining us too once they come out and check it out. You know, it's you know, there's a good, you know, half dozen guys that can definitely do it. Dave's tough though. He can get around. He can you know, and without blocking or without, you know, being too blatant about it, it's hard to get by Dave. You know, he's like he's thinking one move before you are, right? So he's good like that, and that's what takes to win a championship is consistency.
And sure. the one race that he's missing, and we see it kind of in the backdrop here on our screen, is Riverside. He's always said he wanted to win at Riverside. He hasn't kind of got that yet. That's on the bucket list. Now that Oyster Bed is on the schedule, that's going to sure be on the bucket list. AMP, he hasn't won at. You know, there's Miramichi, he hasn't won at either, but I know he's kind of been scratching away at that the last couple of seasons. I want to go back, and I kind of want to bring this full circle and something that Denver mentioned. Once you guys hit PEI, once you guys hit the Oyster Bed Speedway race, your race series is going to be the only one in Atlantic Canada, or in the Maritimes, I should say, because we haven't gone to Newfoundland yet. I wouldn't put it past you to put one in Newfoundland here before long, because they've got a great division over there. But the only one in the Maritimes that has been to every single organized racetrack, including Valley Raceway, including Speedway Miramichi. You're going to go to the road course. How big of a feather in the cap is that for you guys?
It's definitely a feather in the cap for sure, and definitely something I, after a while, kind of tried to move towards, try to get that, you know, put that feather in our cap, right? So, it's definitely cool. Definitely like to try PEI myself as the driver and AMP for sure. See if that happens this year.
Well, you can't,
hopefully, but
you can't borrow a race car from Greg McKay because he doesn't have one anymore, because you've done that on one occasion already.
Yeah, I still got a couple race cars, so
there's never.
I might be looking for a driver for one, you know, for a while, so you know.
It's like we told Sean Turple, there's no such word as retirement when it comes to race car drivers, right?
No, there's always something there with some carrot dangling. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Greg McKay, final call on social. Greg, what do you got?
Well, first of all,
Greg was lending me that car that time. That was pretty cool. I think after that, I think if he hadn't have done that, it would have ruined my street driving tour races. So my car blew up, but we ended up getting that in the top 3 that day. So that was pretty awesome.
All right, I broke Mark's that same day, so it's perfectly okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That didn't work out so good.
No, we're not going to talk about that right now. So my arm's up as high as it can get because you said you're looking for a driver. I'm just planted that seed.
I
didn't see you on screen. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's up there.
We can picture it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Got a couple of questions here. Brent Patterson wants to know how your cars are doing. So you say you got a couple on the go. Are they race ready?
One's pretty much race ready from last year, I guess. A little bit of going over, but
you still need me to come down and take the antifreeze out of the other one?
There's another one that's not so race ready, but it probably wouldn't take long if it had to be.
And a question from Kenny Hopper wants to know about racing Mazdas with you. I believe Mazda is on the list of cars that are approved.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I think there is a couple Mazdas racing around, so
I think you'll see a few more this year. As
long as they check out the rules and see if everything works out, and we're expecting a couple different cars. We're hoping Ryan McKnight comes out there with his Toyota and a couple other guys, and definitely going to be interesting to watch for sure.
So go ahead, Tim.
If you didn't take the opportunity to go back and take a look at the meeting that we had back in January, I think that was informative for those technical questions. Obviously, check out the website, eastcoastministocktour.com for the rules. But if you're looking for a podcast, kick back and listen to sort of session, that's probably the great one. You can find that on the East Coast Mini Stock Tour page, as well as Tim's Corner Motorsports. Greg, what else do we have here? We're running low. I see Riley's in the wings.
Yeah, I got 2 last ones here. One, Sean Pierce wants to know if Drew's actually going to race this summer or if he's going to be El Presidente.
Mostly El Presidente. That's what it's looking like right now. Like I say, hopefully maybe on later in the season.
And we got a Glenn Knott is on here saying that Brenda and him are happy to help out the East Coast Mini Stock Tour, and I would like to thank them probably just as much as you would, because that is sponsors are hard to find these days, and especially dedicated ones.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely excited about getting them on board with us this year and supporting each other, and definitely bumps up support for the drivers and stuff. That's the main thing what we're going after, make it a little bit more enticing for the drivers to come out and support what we're doing. And
we mentioned all the sponsors that are there. Is there anybody that we might have missed, or is there anything that we might have missed from tonight that fans can look forward to when we hit the racetrack on May 29th at 660?
Just no more sponsors really. We're still working on quite a few, and we're always interested in if anybody's, we're always interested in listening. Anybody has any ideas about sponsorship, we're pretty much open to, to their ideas, and we're definitely looking forward to the opening race at 660. That should be that'll be our first, hopefully, mixed field. Get a few cars definitely coming out and checking that out with us there, and looking forward to the bubble opening and getting to see all you guys.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood, whatever you need to do to get it to work. Hopefully April 19th is the date, and we can we can get working back and forth and save us from what would probably be a 3-track schedule down here, at least in Nova Scotia. Drew, this has been fun. Thank you for being a part of this. And we'll the schedule will be on the website tomorrow in full. So if you want to take a look at it there, you can, as well as timscorner.ca. This has been fun. Thanks for being a part of this, Drew.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Check out EastCoastMiniStockTour.com for all the information that is there, and we'll get ready to roll our next guest onto the show, and it is the driver of the number 77 car from Speedway 660. It is not Randy Millar. Randy has a couple of years on this guy that we have on the show, but he's won a couple of races in the last season. Petty International Raceway, Speedway 660 on Speed Weekend. What else have I missed in 2020, Riley, that you went to victory lane? And is there anything else that's there?
Not really, Tim. We had a good season. Ran top 5 for the most part. Had a couple of bad finishes with not finishing and stuff, but it was definitely by far one of our best street stock seasons since we started racing, for as far as wins wise.
And for those that don't know, that we're still watching the B-roll, Riley Goodwin is with us, driver of the number 77. Welcome in, and thank you for pinch hitting for Randy Millar. I'm sure he appreciates it too.
Yeah, no, when you had messaged me, I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But at least we're both number 77, so we're close enough.
I didn't have to change the number. That's the great thing about it.
Yeah.
Let's look back. For those that don't know who Riley Goodwin is, where did you get your start in racing?
Well, my great grandfather, he started racing Miramichi. Floyd Goodwin was his name. And then Marshall, my grandfather, he started racing over in Miramichi. My whole family's from Miramichi. He got Dad into it, and then Dad had quit racing back when he had my sister. And then I was 10 when Dad got me into racing go-karts, and this would be my 10th season of racing.
And the rest is history. Raced Bandolero for a little while too. You were kind of in the middle to the late portion of that bloom of Bandoleros at 660, right?
Yeah. No, we raced go-karts for 2 years down in Gerald Casey's track on East Coast Karting down there in Speedway 660. And then we moved up to the Bandoleros and raced 660 for full-time 2 years. And then we were having low car counts, so me and Dad thought about it, and Justin Cole had offered us. He moved up to Sportsman, and he actually gave me a car to run for my first year of street stock that I'd run one Rookie of the Year with. So, and then, like you said, it was all history from there. We went and bought one, and here we are.
We are live and interactive here tonight. If you have a question or a comment for Riley Goodwin, be sure to drop it in the comments, whether you're watching on TCM Speedway 660, East Coast Mini Stock Tour, or we still have some fans watching on Scotia Speedworld as well. And let's talk about the Bandolero days before we get into the street stock, because you've had a ton of success in the street stock, but you also had some success in the Bandolero. What do you remember most about those days?
A lot of working on broken up race cars, because I couldn't drive worth a freaking I don't know what back in them days. I remember every weekend me and Dad were coming home putting front clips on their doors and fiberglass and fenders. But other than that, I had a ball. I mean, that's where you see a lot of people my age coming up through racing. They all started in the Bandoleros, and they're great learning. I mean, they're fast. They were a ball. I mean, they were expensive, but what part of racing isn't really? But as far as Bandoleros, I remember you racing some against, like, I remember I used to race against Corey Hall all the time, and now look where he's at. So it was fun. That's definitely where, like, if I wouldn't race Bandoleros, I wouldn't probably be where I am today.
How big of a stepping stone is it? You mentioned they're fast. They're a lightweight race car. How much of a stepping stone can it be to the upper echelons? You're in a street stock now. How much of a transition did it make it easy from going to a Bandolero to a street stock?
Really, there wasn't. I don't find they're two totally different things. Obviously, one's way smaller, but as far as Dad didn't want to go to 4-cylinder because just the fact that I was already in a rear-wheel drive from go-karts, Bandoleros. The front-wheel drive, you go to front-wheel, or 4-cylinder, you go to front-wheel drive, and then back to rear-wheel drive. So that's the only reason we skipped the 4 cylinders and went right to street stock. But as far as like driving techniques, I feel like it helped me a lot. That's where I learned everything. But like as far as motor wise and having power and stuff like that, like big ball game difference. But as to learn how to drive, that was definitely helped me out.
Greg McKay, I'll bring you in early here because I know social media, I'm sure, is ablaze. I know Buddy Munn is watching. Want to say hello to Buddy. Who else is on there, Greg? Who you seeing?
I mean, I have a question. What Kyle Lenore mentioned something about the shirtless wonder, and I've heard this stigma before, but I've never heard a story. I don't know if it's appropriate for this particular time, but Kyla wants to say hi, Uncle Rye. And that's buddy. I was going to say, Buddy Munn chimed in. That's what we got right now.
Okay, Riley, I guess we can tell the story of the nickname.
Oh, it all started back in the Bandolero days, I guess. 90% of people walk around with shirts on under race suit. And when I was a kid, I was like, Dad, like I'm sweating. I don't know how these people are wearing shirts. So, anyways, ever since I was probably 12 years old, I just don't wear a shirt in a race suit, and I'm walk around the pits with my suit tied around my waist with no shirt on. And anyways, if anytime I finish on the podium, and do an interview with our local announcer Wade, he came up with a name. I get out of my race car and bring my suit down because I'd be sweating, and he just started calling me one day, and then it stuck. Now you see everyone calling me that, so I mean, it's better. I've been called a lot worse, so I'll take it.
It's on the helmet. It's on the suit. It's stuck, right?
Yeah, it's stuck. It's on everything I got now. It's even on the roof now. So that's my nickname, and I'll stick with it.
I think the only other one that comes to mind when you talk about that, nothing under the driving suit is Martin Landry, and he's coming back this year to street stock. Bought Roger Slocum's car. I'll kind of transition into there because you've got your Roger Slocums, your Rick Cashels, your some of the drivers that are a little older or contemporary, as Wade Wilson would say. How is it to race with those guys and also have the youngsters like your Michael Cormiers and yourself kind of mixing it up in the middle? How cool is it to have I don't want to say age gap, but the differentiation between age?
Oh, it's great. I mean, when you're racing against Michael, you know how to race Michael, or like someone our age, like you just obviously race respect with everyone. But as far as like when you're going run up beside Ricky Castle, you know you're not going to spin him because he's been there a lot longer than we have, and he knows how to get us back 10 times worse. So, but no, it's fun. Like you get to race with people your age, and you get to go over and talk to people a lot older than you. But all in all, it's good racing for the class we got, and it's fun racing against the older guys and the same age.
We touched on it with Drew McEachern about the COVID and bubbles and travel restrictions. One of the, I guess, I don't want to say lost races was last year at Petty. It was a big race because it was your first win at Petty International Raceway, and you had to earn that thing. I'm going to see some highlights here in a moment. How big was that win at Petty International Raceway to kind of get that monkey off your back?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, coming right out of the shop, I mean, we thought we'd have a good piece, but it was all trying error. We race at 660 local all the time, so going to Petty is like a 3-time a summer thing, like every now and again when we have a weekend off down at 660. But we went out and we got the win. I mean, it was awesome. We got last winter we went to Lonnie and Lonnie's Summer Racing, and he helped us out big time. If it wasn't for Lonnie, I wouldn't have been anywhere close to being that front runner this year, because the amount of knowledge that man knows is incredible. It's awesome.
And battled on that restart with Michael Cormier with about 12 laps to go. We're kind of watching it back now. In order to win at Petty Raceway, you have to beat Michael Cormier. So how cool was that with the feather in the cap there?
Oh, that was awesome. We were coming. I knew I was on the outside. I was like, there's no way I'm going to, like, he was faster than me. He always has been at Petty. And we were coming to turn 4, and I floored it at the first line, and all of a sudden I heard his car start spitting and sputtering, and he had a carburetor issue or something. I don't know. He had some kind of issue. And when I come down by the stripe finish line, and when I looked over in my mirror, he wasn't there. So I dived down and I said, there's no way this just happened. And every lap I kept looking in my mirror, and it was slowing me down. I was like, no, I just mirror driving. I was like, I gotta keep going. I just never looked back. But yeah, it's definitely cool, because I mean, not a lot of people have beat Mike at Petty in the last 2 or 3 years.
We are live and interactive with Riley Goodwin. Be sure to drop us a comment or a question, and we'll get the rookie Greg McKay on the show to take a look at it. Denver, you've watched Riley Goodwin coming up from Bandoleros up to street stocks, and that Miramichi connection with the very best fall shootout as well. What do you have to throw at Riley here tonight?
Tim, I have a lot. Sorry, Riley, in advance.
I'll sit back. You can take care of this.
I'm going to start, Riley. So you had a great season, obviously. But I was speaking to your father, and the last race in Miramichi didn't quite go according to plan, and anyone that was there saw that. But from my understanding, what I was told is that car shouldn't have even been able to drive, and you only went down about one lap. What exactly happened that day?
We started out, the car was decent. I mean, I feel like we had I wouldn't say top like a winning car by no means, but I feel like we would have had a chance to be up there for sure. But it worked all right in the heat. We were having a good day and all, and come feature time, it was decent, and then all of a sudden it just went garbage. Just all of a sudden, I was like, "What the hell just happened?" So, anyways, I think I went in once or twice on a caution. I got them to just stagger or do this, put more sway bar in it or something. It didn't change a thing. So, anyways, long story short, yeah, the car was garbage all race, and we ended up going down the lap. Didn't do too good, but when he came in, loaded it, and we unloaded the next day at the house, and we had realized the right side upper control arm, all the bolts came loose, and all of our shims to set our caster and camber fell out. So every time I came in the corner, that tire was just going, its toe was coming in, or it was going in or out. Like it was horrible.
That car shouldn't have been on the track, really, but you
Yeah,
wheeled
no,
it.
It wasn't easy to drive. It felt like a bag of garbage, but we made it, I guess.
You look back at this season, and one of your wins, Tim alluded to, Speed Weekend. That's always a win that street stock drivers, it's on their bucket list. To get that Speed Weekend win, what did that mean this year?
Oh, that was great. I mean, coming from, I've never even podiumed on Speed Weekend. I've either gotten a wreck or technical issues or like everything. Just always been bad luck on Speed Weekend. But to get that, like, and if I think if there was about 5 more laps, I don't know if I would have got it because Justin was right there. But I'm glad there wasn't. But no, that was incredible. I couldn't have been more happier to win on Speed Weekend. Like, that's the Daytona 500 for us street stock drivers at Speedway 660. It's the biggest weekend there is, the most fans. Yeah, that was great.
Speaking of your battles with Justin, there's one that comes to my mind, and I'm sure any fans that were at this race will remember. So you haven't raced for points in a couple of years. The last time you were racing for points, I think it was 2018, and it was a tight battle between you, Justin, Sean, and Roger. From what I remember that day, you started dead last in the feature because you won the week before. Yeah. You drove through the field, and then on the last lap, what happened?
I can't even remember quite back that far, honestly. I remember the 4 of us were battling for a championship hard, and well, I didn't do too crap hot at the end of the race. I'll put it that way. I didn't get to finish where I wanted to.
I remember you were going for the lead on the inside, and the next thing you know, you're on top of Justin's car, and Sean's coming up the outside trying to pass both of you. And I think somewhere the caution came out and froze the race, but that was certainly a wild moment.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, going from like that's all 3 of us all season. We were like, well, I just need to finish 2 spots ahead of Sean or Justin to get them 4 points on him, or it was stressful, but don't get me wrong, it was an awesome time, and for us to be that close going into our Night of Champions was wicked. It was stressful, but made it way more fun. But yeah.
So I have one more thing. Well, a couple things, but we'll start with this one. Recent announcement: there is a 5-race street stock series, a 100-lap race at Speedway Miramichi, Speedway 660, Petty International Raceway, the Center for Speed, and Oyster Bed Speedway. Your thoughts on this 5-race series?
I think it's a great idea, honestly. As long as the COVID can screw off and we can keep our Atlantic bubble, I think it's awesome. It's good for the street stock division. It's growing, definitely. With everywhere you go, there's 15 to 20 cars. But yeah, it's a great idea. I'm glad the tracks did something like that and did something for our class. And I don't know. We'll see, like, if how money goes in time. If we can do the 5-race deal. I'm not really sure 100% whether we're gonna run 660 or. But I will be running at least 3 of them. The one at Miramichi, like guaranteed. The one at Miramichi, the stuff your storage one at Petty, and the one at 660. But like I said, if we can afford to and we got the time, I'd like to race all 5. That's awesome.
And how about that Petty race? $5,000 to win. That's just first prize on top of lap money. I think if you do the math right now, they're at like a potential for over $6-7 grand. I'm sure lots of drivers are going to have that race circled, but how cool is it to see, big money races. We've seen it with the Ricky Bobby. We've seen it with Miramichi, some of the Atlantic Championship races, and now Petty just raising the bar with this big race.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. I mean, it just goes to show like people want they want to support our street stock class, and it's great because you get people helping out, and it makes for better racing because in better car counts, like $5,000, you're gonna have. I bet there'll be 25 to 30 cars there because everyone's gonna want that $5,000. But I know if I get that $5,000, there won't be a tire left on my car because I'll have 4 brand new ones after to blow off.
The celebration is going to be epic, right?
That's right.
There's a campground there. There's a campground up the road at 660. I'm sure there's going to be a celebration at some point. Greg, you've been quiet. I know social media. There's a couple of questions on there. I see Richard Atkinson is on there tonight, which is great. We love Richard and love Heather. What are you seeing on social?
Richard is asking the question that I think a lot of people are asking, and Buddy Munn's got a similar comment. They want to know when and if you plan to move up to a Sportsman car or higher.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm super content in the street stock. I like going out, trading paint and tires, marks up the side. I don't think I have any interest in moving to a Sportsman. If I ever could afford to move up, I probably would be right to a pro stock. But like I said, I'm perfectly content where I am now. I love the street stock racing, and it's affordable, and I'm staying right where I'm at as far as my future sees.
I mean, pro stocks, you can put pretty big donuts on the door too, if that's all you're looking for, some paint transfer. I know some guys.
Yeah.
I think you answered this already, but Taylor Albert's looking to know if you're going to go to Oyster Bend this year.
I'd love to. Like I said, I gotta hurry up, make my mind up if I want to race 660 or this 5-race deal, just because. Actually, no. When they change their schedule, there's no conflicts now. But if get enough sponsors and stuff like that around gathered up, for sure. Like I'd love to go over, but just depending on that is whether I'll go or not. Because I've never raced at Oyster Bend, and I'd love to, but we'll see when the time comes, I guess.
We probably should have started with this, but Mom's watching, so you should mind your P's and Q's there, buddy.
She set you up with Zoom tonight, by the way, too, right? Because I know that was a last minute thing, right?
Yeah, I don't know how to run this stuff. I just fix wrenches for a living, man. I don't know how to run computers and stuff like that. They had to set me up with this.
So thank you, Mom, for that.
That's right.
You mentioned the 2021 season and what happens. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You kind of answered the question already, but where do you see yourself, and where do you see the sport in 5 years moving forward? Because with COVID, it's changed everything. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I could see myself maybe in 5 years going to a pro stock. Like I said, I'll be a little bit more grown up by then and have a little bit more money. But as far as like right now, I just love street stock racing. I don't have any desire to move up. I love what I do now. But I've never even tried a pro stock out. I'd love to go out and try one and maybe race one someday. But the COVID definitely, I think last summer was actually, I think it helped our sport. If anything, like everywhere you went, like there was no points championships at any track. So you had cars traveling everywhere. Like we had cars from Oyster Bend at Petty, 660, and cars from each track going everywhere. Like there's 20 cars everywhere you went. So and that's just speaking from the street stock division. I'm not sure how, like I bet the tour and stuff probably was good too. But as long as we can keep the Atlantic bubble open and keep EEI and Newfoundland open, we should be able to keep our racing over here in the Maritimes going pretty good.
Miramichi, the 100 lapper has to be near the top of the list, but is there anything else you want to check off? You checked off Petty, you checked off SpeedWeekend, which was a big one on the list, I'm sure. Is there anything that you want to do in your street stock career before you either move up or move on from the division?
I tell Dad this all the time. He hates points racing because it's too stressful for him. But I tell him all the time, I'm not moving out of street stock until I win one championship, or either that or win the Ricky Bobby. That's one and two. I'd love to win Miramichi, but just that Ricky Bobby 150. But my main one would be win the championship. I'd want to win a championship street stock before I ever go anywhere.
You mentioned your father. I don't think I've ever seen him stressed at the racetrack. He's got a smile on his face. He's happy. How is it to have him around the race car? Because I know in Victory Lane, he's the first one to your race car and he's always happy to be there. But how is it with him in the pits?
Well, it depends what kind of mood you catch him on. I mean, if I'm grumpy, he's grumpy. If I'm happy, he's happy. So it's but if I'm grumpy, I would just probably keep walking by him and not want to say anything because the swearing's got to be coming out of him. And wrenches, he even went by. There's a sign that he put in the trailer that says "Caution! There may be tools flying in this area." So but he's a ball to have down around the pits. I mean, I can't thank for all he's done. He's what got me into racing and stuff like that. But if you ever want to see him not with a smile on his face, all you gotta do is come to Donnie's Dungeon down at 660 and close it when the doors are closed, and you'll see the other side of Bob Goodwin.
Donnie won't let me have a camera in there, so I think I'm gonna have to talk to Donnie Greer. Yeah, Denver, what do you got?
Yeah, we like to poke fun. I love Bob. He is hilarious. But I think, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong on this, I think he owes some people some gas after the halfway break at the Ricky Bobby race.
Yeah, we went out, and I don't know if we underestimated. I won't say it's his fault. I'll say it's our fault. And yeah, we had to go borrow some of James' matches because we didn't even have enough to go the rest of the 150. And then you can just picture him out there cursing, swearing because we had to bum gas off someone else and not have enough for ourselves. But yeah, that's just the way he is. So
I'm sure James had enough though.
Oh, he had all kinds. He had enough for me and him.
I think he went to more than just James, to be honest.
Yeah, he asked a couple people, and I think James was just like, "Well, hope you do, or else we're not going to be able to finish."
We get a couple of more moments with Riley Goodwin. Drop us a comment, a question. Let us know where you're tuned in from. Hit that share button. Let your friends know you're watching some bench racing here on a Monday night, and give the rookie something to go after here on social media, because I know Greg's earning his rookie stripe today. What else are you seeing on there? Anything popping up?
I saw something interesting. It doesn't really pertain to Riley, but Robin McLean says he's got nothing to do for that PEI mini stock race. Maybe he doesn't have anything to do for the street stock race over there. It'd be a good place for a car to be.
There you go. I mean, Riley, you'd be wanting to drive your race car over there, but I'm sure if there's somebody over there with a street stock that wants to put Robbie in it. I did see the comment about the beard, and Tammy said it was spring, and wondered if I was going to shave.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to take that one. I wasn't going to touch that.
Yeah, you can touch it all you want. We thank Robbie and Tammy for helping us out here on Tim's Corner Motorsports. We kid because we care. We have a lot of fun with our time over on the island. Looking forward to getting over there a couple of times this season. But yeah, that's Robbie needs to be in a race car. I know he's got a pro stock ride. There you go. So maybe if you trade,
Robbie, is going.
Yeah, you know where this is going, right?
Yeah.
So you would trade your street stock for a pro stock ride for a night, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Oh, Robbie, I'll do that.
It's Greg Proud's old race car, so we know it's good.
Oh, yep. Done deal.
There you go. So we're already making rides here. I think we did that with Richard Atkinson a couple of weeks ago too. So
I got another one for you, Tim. This is a serious question though.
Okay.
Can we put Bob in the car for the mechanics race in the Shee up in Miramichi?
Holy. Number one, I don't know if poor Bob will fit in my seat, but he's more than welcome to go buy a seat if he wants to go in it. But I can tell you one thing. He's always told me he'd never race against me because I wouldn't even have a car to drive because I'd be in the wall every time he raced against me. So I don't really know if I want to trust him with my street stock or not, because I don't know if I'd even have a car to drive next weekend. But if he paid for it, sure.
Hold on, I got an idea. So they had a staff race up there last year, and they put the staff in demo cars. Could we do a Bob and a Riley race up there at one point and have you two? And
yes.
Can we do that, Denver? I know you have control of that. I'm sure Barry's watching.
It's Barry's comment actually to get him in the mechanics race. So
even better.
Yeah,
I'd do that then, because then I ain't scared to wreck. I wouldn't be scared to wreck a demo car. I'm just too scared to wreck my car. I'd shove him right in the wall then.
So I guess I know what we're doing during the fall shootout then.
That's right. Bob and Riley in the demo race after.
Well, Ashton Tucker's driven in the demo before, so I mean,
Dylan Langel's done it.
Dylan didn't drive.
If you want to call it that, he's done it before. But yeah, we always have some fun at Miramichi, so maybe that's the next thing we need to see.
Yeah, me too. I think it'd be a blast. Me and the old man battling her out there. That'd be funner now.
Barry's on board. Just saying.
Well, I'm sure he is. But by the way, perfect time to promote this. This is not our first live show of the week. Well, it is our first live show of the week. It's not our last live show of the week. We're going to be previewing on Thursday the Easter Bunny Bash Winter Demo. Is that right, Denver? Is that the name? You guys come up with like long names. So
Yes.
we have to kind of like shorten them up or whatever. But we haven't got a guest list yet. I know I talked to Barry on the weekend. I talked to you on the weekend. We've got a list of about 15. We got to narrow down to like 3 or 4 to ask. So that's going to be fun. It's demo only preview. You can see it up there on the screen momentarily, but it's Speedway Miramichi only show per se. If you don't know demo, you're a stock car guy and you might think, hey, I might not be interested in this. If you never saw our live shows last year at the racetrack, you're going to want to watch this one. Demo Dylan is going to be back. So the master of demolition is going to be here to talk about it with Denver. And I'm going to be in the Greg chair. So we talk about Greg having, a rookie status tonight. That's going to be me on Thursday night. But Thursday night, 8:00, we'll be here and we'll shoot the breeze a little bit about demolition. And if you want to guest, if there's somebody that's racing on Saturday that you want to hear from on Thursday, drop it in the comments below. Because we've had some interesting names come up in our conversations. We want to know who you want to see here on Thursday night. So we're just about short, getting ready to go to our next guest, waiting for Megan Parrott to come up. She's got a Sportsman car. She drives for number 1 racing. So maybe there's an opportunity there, Riley, to get in a seat.
Yeah, I might do a trade debrief from that just to try one out for once.
She's talked about traveling this season, so we'd have to ask Mitch, the car owner, but I'm pretty sure that might be something he might be interested in. So keep the Dodge team on those late models. But Greg, final call from social. Is there anything else that we can throw at the Shirtless Wonder? By the way, you are wearing a shirt tonight. It is cold outside, so thank you.
It's cold.
Yeah.
I mean, but by the looks of things, nobody really cares that he even has a street stock. They want to see him in this Derby situation.
Okay.
Caleb Burkhardt says he'll come out and play in the Derby.
Just put all the street stock guys in demo cars.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've been to a few of those. And Sean Hyslop wants to know if we got any B-roll video of Riley sneaking beer out of the garage.
When would you have done that?
This summer, I went into my house, to my mom and stepdad's house, and I said, I missed the beer store. So I said, do you guys get any beer? And they're like, oh yeah, there's a whole cardboard box there, all glass bottles of beer in the garage. They're on the back. So I go grab them. Well, we have cameras around the house and in the garage. So anyways, I went out there and I picked the cardboard box of beer, and I turned around, the bottom flew out and she just went smash and every bottle went on the thing. So I came back in and told mom. I shouldn't even have told her, because sure enough, she went on the camera and seen me do it, and then me run around swearing, trying to clean it up. And then she went and posted on Facebook. So then everyone else seen me. It looked like I was trying to sneak beer from my parents at 19 years old. So then everyone got a good kick out of that. So there I was looking like the dummy in front of everyone.
So the answer to that, Sean, is no, we don't have it on the show. But yes, we can grab it the next time we're at Speedway 660, and I think we're going to be there for that first race for the Riverview Ford Lincoln season opener. So what can't be done now can be done in 2 months. So I think that all works.
Riley, you never grow out of stealing beer from your parents' house, just saying. Mine are probably listening, so I shouldn't say too much.
And anything else you're seeing on social, Greg?
Tony Arsenault said they're looking to get the sign crew up to 660 this year, so I think they probably found a favorite driver tonight.
Yes, that is one that needs to get up there. And by the way, Riley, you're the first street stock driver that we've had on the show, so there's that little distinguished too, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I was waiting to see if you guys were going to bring any street stock drivers on. I've seen a couple of them doing them with James down there in Nova Scotia, and I just never seen anyone on here. So when you asked me, I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
So they're all in the chat right now. We heard from Sean. Justin's probably not there because he's celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, Justin Cole. And well, if he's listening, he's probably not coherent to hear anything we're saying.
Yeah.
But we kind of asked Mark Best last week about who he'd like to see on as the next Newfoundland guest. I'll ask you, who do you see as the next street stock guest? Who do we have to get on here to throw in your hot seat?
Anyone really. I mean, you got a lot of good street stock drivers nowadays. Like and a lot of fast guys. You got Justin and Sean and Caleb. He was a rookie last year, but he was fast by the end of the year. Michael, Logan Power. There's a lot of them. I think Rick Cash would be a good one to get on here. I mean, nothing against Rick if he could figure out how to run it, because I didn't either.
If we can get him to use Zoom, I think that's easy.
I'm sure Lynn could show him how to run it, but I think he'd be a good one to get on here and see what he has to say, because he gets to the point pretty quick. He'd tell you what he thought.
Jack Wilkins is very technical. I know he watches the show, so I think we're going to leave that in Jack Wilkins' hands.
Yeah, Jack will show him.
Absolutely. Who do you got on the race car for sponsorship? Because I know you don't do it alone. And who do you got on the crew? Because I know some of them are watching tonight too.
I got all my sponsors. My pit crew. I got to thank Buddy Munn, my dad, my uncle Tom, Tony Garvin, my brother-in-law Tony Knorr, just everyone that's down there every weekend helped me out. It's super hard to find a guy my age that wants to give their whole summer up just to go down and sweat at a racetrack. They're out on a boat and they're going wheeling, like they don't want to go sit at a racetrack. But I got to thank all my sponsors. Bob Calhoun at Pubs Bottles Exchange, he's a big sponsor of mine. D. Gillespie and Sons Trucking, Barry Moorcraft Trucking, W.R. Gillespie, Ian D. Patterson, Robert Curtis at Keller Williams, MH Electric. I got my phone here so I can see.
Cheat sheet, right?
Well, yeah, I can't remember them all. Jay Dunham Law Group, Granite Industries, Paul Miller at Miller Refrigeration, Southside Diesel Service, my cousins Darren and Crystal, Lincoln Auto, Uncle Kyle at Lincoln Auto. He's always there if we need tires changed, or he's always there to help us. Just all my sponsors. I can't forget to thank Jack Wilkins, because a couple times I forgot to thank him on the intercom down the track, and I still don't hear the end of it. And I think that was 5 years ago. So I got to thank him. But all my friends and family for coming down, like support me. It's a family event. Like if it wasn't for them and sponsors, we wouldn't all be here doing it. So yeah.
I think Jack knows that we have fun with him on the show. So at least you're good for another 5 years, right?
Yeah, now that I thanked him on live, at least more people seen it on here probably than they would at 660. So hopefully he'll stop complaining about it and finally get down there. Oh, and I forgot Lonnie. He'd be a huge part of my sponsor too. I mean, I was just down there last week, and we shot the shit there for a bit and had a good time and worked on some cars and stuff. But no, like I said, he knows how to make one of them race cars turn. So if it wasn't for him, my race car wouldn't be turning the way it is. And I got to really thank him, because the knowledge he's gave me and help he's gave me would cost a normal fellow a lot of money.
What color are the rims on your car?
Not chrome.
Did you pass the test? Congratulations.
I think Lonnie would be done helping me if he's seen chrome wheels on my race car.
Just don't let Gerald Greenlaw anywhere near your race car and you'll be fine.
No.
Thank you for doing this. This has been fun, and I'm sure we'll catch up before the racing season starts. And if not, we'll see you on the opening weekend at Speedway 660.
For sure. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Denver and Greg.
Thanks, Riley.
Thanks.
That's Riley Goodwin, driver of the number 77, and we are going to move on to our next guest. And we've been waiting to get this one on for a little while. And Meg, your camera is sideways. There you go.
Tim, I'm going to need a raise for social media for this one, I think, buddy.
I think you are. There we go. Driver of the number one, Apache Motors, Bunky's Hands Insulators, number one racing. Did I forget anybody? I'm sure I did. Megan Parrott, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
Who did I miss? I know you've got a long list. We'll start off with the sponsors, I guess.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So for sponsors this year, the list is pretty small, but we have Bunky's Hands Insulators on board every year. So love him. We've also got Apache Motors. They've been on every year as well. And Graco Auto Loop System. So, yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to the show. I know we wanted to get you on here for a little while. 2020 was a little bit of a slower season with COVID and everything else, but we've done the shop stop before, but to refresh everybody's memory, how did you get your start in racing?
Okay. So I started because my dad, he used to race a lot. So he used to race in the Lightning division, and he used to drag me to the track, or I used to go with my mom, and I used to, see dad at the track and cheer him on, like, go dad, yay. And I bugged him enough, and he eventually got me like a Bandolero, and that's where it started. I did a couple years there. And then I moved on to the truck series, which is by far like my favorite, even though like I love Sportsman to death. Spent a couple years in trucks, 4 if I'm correct, and then moved on to Sportsman, and that's just what we're doing now.
We just had Riley Goodwin on the show. We'll ask you the same question. What do you remember about those Bandolero days, and how big of a stepping stone was that to really learn that car to move up to a truck?
Yeah, so Bandoleros, they're definitely like low to the ground and everything, and I just remember like the biggest thing, they're just. I just remember every time at Scotia, anyways, out of two, there was just this one bump, and it would just like really set you loose. But no, bandos they're totally different. I remember the transition from bandos to trucks it was a big learning. So I just kept looking at Dad and being like, this is what I know. Holy crap! But yeah.
For the record, that bump is still there in turn 2.
It is still there. My little brother Brett, he races and he can confirm it is still very much there.
I want to ask you about Brett in a second, but want to remind everybody we're live and interactive with Megan Parrott, whether you're watching on Scotia Speedworld, Tim's Corner Motorsports, the East Coast Mini Stock Tour. We're still live on Speedway 660 as well. Drop us a comment, let us know that you tuned in, or any questions that you have for driver number 1. Greg, it's early. You still have the rookie stripe on. We'll throw it to you. Is there anything that's on social early on this one?
I'm fairly disappointed that there's been nothing to date. So we'll just.
Well, it's still early.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to keep her talking.
Okay. Well,
I know she can do that. I'm sure. I've heard interviews. So
I'm on like glass number 2 of wine. I'm really like relying on that right now.
Okay,
so,
hold on.
Yeah.
So Greg McKay didn't bring us sandwiches. You didn't bring us wine. What's up with that?
I don't know. It's bring your own wine, bring your own sandwiches. I could definitely go for a sandwich though. If someone's giving those out, like tell me where to go. I'll go. Very hungry.
I feel like I'm a lightweight with the Diet Coke, but let's talk about the truck division. When we talked about the Bandoleros, let's talk about the trucks. You had some success there, and you got to battle with guys like Dan Smith, Jason Fenton, Matt Vaughn. List goes on and on there. How cool was that to be a part of that truck division up until the end of it?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, like the trucks are like by far like I can confidently say that like my favorite series that I've been in. Just like the guys, like there was like you know like tension and everything with the guys. Like every week was always like you know there was like disagreements and like I don't want to say fights or anything, but it was always like you know like there's just always stuff going on, and like the racing was good, and the trucks just you can run them different than you could like a bando and a sportsman in my opinion anyways. Like you can bump and like bash and bang and just like you can save it like compared to like a bando where like if you get hit in the back you're spun, or like if you hit something in a sportsman like you got to worry about your rad and stuff. But it was just like trucks, it was just like every race was just like going out for fun, and I really kind of like I just like I don't like I miss that. I'm not saying that I don't have fun in the sportsman, but it's the trucks are just like a different kind of world. Like it's and especially you mentioned like Dan Smith and Jason Fenton and them guys, like Matt Vaughn, like I like they're like I'm Jason doesn't race anymore, I don't think. Dan, I'm not sure what he's doing, but Matt Vaughn, he's moved on up, and he was by far like one of the, in my opinion, like the greatest talents that we've had there in the trucks. He was always fun to race against when I could catch up to him. But yeah, no, it was just overall like a very fun class to be a part of.
And you got your first win fairly early, and when that first win came, others came. Talk about that first win. What do you remember about that first race? Because you had, you know, your Jason Fentons, your Dan Smiths right behind you.
Yeah, I'm terrible with remembering races, but I don't know if this is the one. I remember Jason was behind me at one point, and this might have been when I finished maybe like second or third, maybe like my first podium. But I remember I was celebrating like way too early. Like we were going into 3 and 4, and I was like pumping my fists, like so excited. I was like, "Ooh, I'm finally gonna get a trophy!"
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, he came to me after the race. He's like, "Listen, 1, congratulations. 2, he's like, I totally could have spun you out there. He's like, you cannot celebrate that early." And I was like, "Okay, sorry." Didn't do that ever again. But
you're lucky you didn't have Drew McEachern behind you.
I'm guessing he's a little bit different than Jason, but yeah, the first win in the truck, I feel really bad that I can't remember that, but I feel like I probably got out, stood on the top of the roof and waved the flag. That tends to be my go-to. So
we actually just saw the Sportsman highlights, and we're looking at the highlights from I believe this is the second win from the late model Sportsman. We're kind of bouncing back and forth, but let's move to the Sportsman division and talk about how big those wins were, because those wins in this division don't come around very often when you're racing guys like Jordan Vino, Devin Smith. I think Colby Smith was there that night on the podium with you when you won your first race. Travis Roma, like list goes on and on. How cool is it to not only win 1, but win 2 of those features?
It's honestly, I'm really happy to say that I've done like at least once and then also twice. But no, I remember like I was just like so excited that the first one that I won. I think I led like a lot, like almost all. I don't know. I led a big portion of the race. I'm pretty sure. And correct me if I'm wrong. I have like the worst memory with this stuff. I think it's
You
all
led every lap.
I did. Thank you. Our facts guy right there. Fact checking us in.
Jordan finished second.
Okay, there we go. Jordan, watch out. But yeah, no, I just remember like crossing the finish line and like screaming and like just being so happy in the car that like when we watched the GoPro video the next day or like that night, Dad was like, "Listen, like if you turn the volume up on the TV because we were watching it off the GoPro, he's like, you can hear you screaming," and I'm like, okay. But yeah, no, especially to like racing against like Jordan and Devin, like they've just every race that we go into, they're like the top contenders. There's like the Matt Vaughn and Pete Millar is always contending, but it was just always like Jordan and why am I drawing a blank right now? I just said his name.
Devin.
Thank you. Jordan and Devin. That's the wine. But no, Jordan and Devin, and like the fact that I actually was able to contend with them those 2 nights and everything, it was no, just a really cool feeling.
The second one that we're watching highlights now, and the guy is on the screen that finished behind you, Harry Ross White, teammate that night in the 18 car. How special was that to battle a guy that he's kind of giving you some advice on how to do this thing? How cool was it to have Haas on the podium and chasing you to the checker?
That was wicked. I do remember that part, but I remember there was like a restart with like a lap or two to go, and I just kept looking in the mirror, but also like hearing Haas in my head saying, "Don't look in that mirror, look where you want to go." So it was just like a constant like battle in my head being like, okay, I really want to see where he's at. And it was just, I was like, this is it. This is like the moment where I just lose it. And I've been leading and I'm just not going to get it. He's going to take it from me somewhere on the outside. And Travis Romo was up there with me. I was like, there's no way I'm coming out of this like in first place. And then I ended up doing so. And then Haas was on the podium with me, and I just remember like Brent, that was the first thing. I hopped out of the truck, or not the truck, hopped out of the car, and it was just like, okay, where's Haas? Have to like hug him. Like he's really been like a big factor in my whole Sportsman, like getting to kind of get like a grasp on everything. I come to him with a lot of questions, like because it was just like all new to me, and I get frustrated a lot. And don't get me wrong, like my dad and Mitch Blanchard, the car owner, they're like great. They're good at like helping me through everything. But like Haas actually was like, he's kind of speaks, I guess, my language, or he was just good at like explaining things and understanding what I'm saying. And yeah, lots of love for Haas.
We're going to go to social in a second because I know Greg is chomping at the bit, but I want to ask you brought something up there. You drive for Mitch Blanchard. We had Jeffrey Breen on earlier in this series, and he drives for Bethany and Kevin McCormick. How did the deal come along that you ended up in the one car?
That's actually a cool story. So I never knew, like I didn't know of Mitch until like he asked me to drive his car, and he got a hold of me and my dad and was just like, hey, like just wondering if like I have like a Sportsman car. And long story short, we ended up meeting. He came over to my dad's house, and it was just so weird to have one. Like he was just sitting at our kitchen table, and we were just talking racing, and he pulled out like his book of like numbers and stuff, and was just like, "So, do you want to race this year?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I don't know you." And it was just a big like, I don't know. It was hard, and not hard, but it was just like mind blowing. I guess it was kind of like, okay, you want to like take a chance on me? You want me to like not wreck your stuff? And I did an okay job on that. I didn't wreck too much, but it was just really nice of him. And it's like I appreciate it, and it's been so much fun. And I think he's gotten a lot out of it. I've gotten a lot out of it. We've made a lot of like friendships and connections, and then sponsorship opportunities, and all in all, it's just been like a really. I think this will be our 4th or 5th season. I'm really not good with numbers, but no, I'm just really grateful and happy for it.
And I think you guys were kind of at a crossroads, because I think Mitch was at the point where Matt kind of wanted to step back, Matt Moore. He had Jeff Dillman drive the car a little bit. Haas was in the car, and I think he was at a crossroads. And you were at a crossroads too, because that was when the truck division kind of dissolved. You ran a couple of East Coast mini stock tour races with Mark Williams. You ran a legend car race with Emily Me, and that had to be cool. We'll talk about that in a second. But it was kind of the way things work. It was kind of at a crossroads for both of you guys in your racing careers.
Yeah, I know. I kind of feel like it's like an identity crisis almost. Like it's like I was doing my thing in the trucks, and then the numbers just started like dwindling, and then it was like I just had conversations with my dad. I was like, Dad, like it's not going to be fun. Like there's like 5 trucks here. That's it. Like that's not like why we come. We don't just come to like almost be guaranteed a podium every week. So and then we just decided, you know, like we're just going to cut it quits, or you know, just stop. And I remember that first week, I think I went to the track and I wasn't racing, and I was like, this just feels so weird. I don't want to be here. And then Mark Williams, he came forward and he was like, hey, do you want to like do a race? And like I said, trucks were like the funnest, but if funnest is a word, but that Thunder car was like the best. Like the like I had so much fun in that, and like the fact that he had like a good car to compete with, and like there's good guys working on it, and just it was like, yeah, I think it was, what was it, front wheel drive. So it was, that was like my first front wheel drive car I'd ever driven. Everything I'd driven before that was rear. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, something like that.
Yeah. But no, that was just really, really cool with him. And I think we got to do a couple of races, and we went up to where did we go? 660, I think, in New Brunswick. And that was really fun. I kind of lost track of what the original question was. I'm just kind of going on a tangent about Mark.
Well, that's kind of where I wanted to go with it, because you got a podium in Halifax with that Thunder car. And you went to 660. The race didn't start out well for you. I think the race ended up better than your father was at the end of the night, because I think he ended up taking a tumble down the hill, didn't he?
Yeah. So like first or second lap or something, I spun out and had to come in the pits or something, and I made it out a little bit late. But when he was running, like he was watching the race at the fence in like the pits, and he ran down that hill so fast, and apparently the hill is like this, and then it flattens out real quick. He didn't understand gravity, and momentum just kind of like took him right on his face. And it was a long night. It was like after the race ended, he was like I was like, what happened to you? He's like, oh, I'm good. He broke like ribs, and he wouldn't go to the hospital. But yeah, no, he's better now, I guess. If you know, as better as like a 50-year-old man, or sorry, 49-year-old man could be. But yeah, no. Besides that, 660 was fun. We ended up racing the whole race, half a lap down the entire race. I was looking out the front of my, like the car, couldn't see any cars. Looking in the rear view mirror, couldn't see any cars the entire race. It was like I almost just wanted to like cause a caution just to bunch us all up, but I don't know how to like purposely spin myself out. I just do that like as a talent. So
we've got about 20 minutes left on the show. We'll go to Greg on social media. Greg, what's the buzz over there?
A couple of good questions, actually. Jordan Vino says that he's never been more excited to finish second to somebody, and that she did beat him and Colby Smith in her first win. So congrats on that. Try not to make driving a mini stock sound so easy, because you passed me coming out of turn 4 at Scotia Speedworld to get that podium.
That was during your like rookie years, wasn't it?
That was the same year that I banged Mark's car up that she got to drive.
I was trying to give you credit, but
I know, but
go with it.
We're going to go with it. Megan, if you were ever given the opportunity to drive a pro stock, Mitch had one at one point, number 1 racing, would you drive one?
If I had the opportunity, yes. I think anyone, like you'd be crazy to turn it down, right? Like obviously if the opportunity came up, I'd 100% take it. I know there was one time, maybe 2 years ago, we were doing like end of the year testing at Scotia, and I got to do one little test session in the pro stock, and like I'm not gonna lie, like it made me nervous. Like just coming on the gas, it's different than a Sportsman. Like I think I might have only been like flat foot on the throttle for, I don't know what, if I did 10 laps, I might have only done like a straight and a back stretch flat foot once, just because it was like you get right on that gas and it pushes you in the seat, and then it just sounds different. I don't know. It's a whole other kind of car, and I'm not even, I probably can't even say that because I haven't even raced one. I just drove it for 2 minutes, but I'd love to learn. That's the thing. Like if the opportunity came up, that would be really cool.
We got a question on the 660 page here. What advice would you give to younger female drivers coming up through from bandoleros and moving up into a sportsman car? That's a fairly big jump. What kind of advice would you give to them?
Going from bando to sportsman. Well, I know we have some good female talent already kind of in the works doing racing and everything. We've got like Emily Chisholm, and can't forget about my girl Brooke. I don't know what their next steps are, but just honestly, just ask questions and like approach people. And if you have a question, be like, why is the car handling like this? Like what can we do to make it better? And just like, I rely a lot on my pit crew for that. Like we have Keith, Kenny, Bernie, Joe. Everyone is just always like, I wouldn't be able to do anything without them. But if you're moving from bandos to sportsmen, just be patient, I guess. I don't know exactly what the right thing to say for that is, because I took a little detour and I did the whole truck thing. So, but anything's possible. So.
And from one of your biggest fans, Tony Arsenault and the Sign Crew, wondering what do you see as your greatest area for improvement this year?
Greatest area for improvement? Is consistency a thing for improvement, or
not spinning the tires on a restart?
Not spinning the tires on the racetrack. That would do. I've done that a couple times, flat foot the gas and spun out. Patience. I've been working on that a lot, on and off the track, but no, if I could just have a little more patience. And I know like there's been plenty of times coming off the track where Mitch is like, the car owner Mitch, he's been like, if you would have just like waited like a little bit before trying to pass him, like just get a little bit closer instead of trying to go for the outside. He's like, you would have had him. And I was like, I know, but I just saw it. I see it and I want to go for it. So maybe patience. I'll work on that.
That's all we got from socials, but I do think since we kid because we care, I think you might be the only driver to ever spin out on a pace lap.
Yep.
At pace speed. I think I've only seen that happen once. I think
I am all here for doing firsts, like worst or bad, like any publicity is good publicity, right? Not really, but
no, you're right, it is.
Greg, did you catch Cars Tour qualifying on the weekend?
I was
Ben Rose spun out coming
there.
up to speed.
I knew you were going to go there. Yeah.
You opened the door.
Yeah.
And he's won how many races? He's a legend. So I guess there has been some people that have done it before, right?
Yeah, but it's funner when Megan does it.
I've seen Joe Hoyt do it.
Have there been many people to stop the 10-lap heat race around lap 9? Because I've done that. I've done that.
Oh, I thought that was a shot.
Yeah.
I thought that was a shot in my direction because I've done that twice.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the club. It's
you were bringing that up for a reason then.
Yeah. It's doing it when you're leading is when it's really painful.
Right. Okay. I'm here too. Great.
Hey, Mark Martin did that too one year.
That's right. Mark Martin did it. So it's,
Okay. So maybe that's not as bad as the whole spinning the tires thing, but at least it's common. So.
I want to ask you before we run out of time. We got about 10, 15 or so minutes left. I want to ask about Brett because you brought up Brett earlier. You talked about the advice you can give, but you've been giving advice to a young kid that's in a bandolero. What's the progress been in the last couple of years? Because we did the shop stop and he was kind of getting in the race car then, and we never really got a whole lot of time to talk about it. So a couple of years afterwards, what are you most excited about seeing his progress?
I think he's in that like the smaller division at Scotia, right? Is that called the Bandits? Yeah, so he'll be moving up to the Outlaws next. That's what I'm excited for. Considering like looking at where he started and where he is at now, like the progress is like leaps and bounds. You can't force comfort into someone. on the racetrack. They have to kind of find it themselves. And that was the biggest like working thing we had to like, or the biggest thing we had to like work with him with, was just getting comfortable, like get on the gas sooner, like you can pass this person, you like just overall like just feeling confident in what you have and everything. Because like he's never raced before. It was just kind of like, hey, like here's a bandolier, let's go. But he's ballsy, and he's just gotten a lot of confidence the last like couple seasons, and I'm just really excited to see how he does this year. I'm not really sure like what this whole COVID season is going to bring, but I know he's excited to get back into it. It's all kind of weird, right? Like if I'm being honest, it's like sometimes it's maybe I kind of feel like I don't want to race this year, but like I know that's just like the whole not normal of everything sinking in, right? Because I know I've talked to Brett a couple times, and he's like yeah, like it just all feels weird. It doesn't feel like a real race season.
And with everything, the temperature starting to warm up, everything else, I think that kind of comes with it too, with it being a long winter with COVID and everything else. I want to ask about Scotia Speedworld last year on Labor Day weekend, because you finished second in the Sportsman car. He won his first ever Bando feature. I think Mitch Hopkins was on the podium in Thunder. It was a big night for Beaverbank. How big was that last year with all the COVID and everything that happened? How big of a highlight was that?
That was probably the biggest highlight of I'd say last year. I only made 4 races last year, 2 at Scotia, 2 in New Brunswick. But no, it was. I remember I posted about that on Instagram. It was just the 3 Beaver Bankers. We got 1, 2, 3, and of course Brett had to outshine me, but it's okay. I'll get him back. But no, it was really cool to see him win, and just like see Dad and like Tressa, his mom, like just so excited, and it was like this is like what we worked for. And then Mitchell to get 3rd, like he like that man, like he has tough luck, and like it just to see him like hold that trophy, and he's just so excited for this little birthplace trophy. It's like, yay, Mitch. But no, I'm just kidding. We kid because we care. But no, that night was really fun.
I want to ask about that one petty night, because you ended up no fire extinguishers thrown at you, but you were up in the corner when Justin Beers decided to take a walk with his helmet and Hans device. What do you remember from that night?
That happened in turn 2, I think. And I remember just being spun around completely. I saw his car coming towards me, and then he got out, and I just got to watch like the anger, I guess.
You get to watch the show.
Fire. Yeah, it was a show. And like your first thing, like I think at first I was like scared, not scared, but I was just like, whoa, please don't throw anything at my car in my direction. But like you can poke fun all you want, but everyone's been in that situation where you're just so caught up. You're like, you were doing so well, and then it's just like it's taken away from you, you know, like your whole night's wrecked. And like you can't help it but like get caught up in emotions. And that's it. That was exactly what he was dealing with. Just disappointment, anger. And it was really cool to watch, for sure. Cool little video on the GoPro, be like, wow. But yeah, no, that race in Petty, I don't think we did super duper well. We definitely did not finish on the lead lap, but that doesn't mean it was any less fun. Like that was my first time racing a Sportsman there, I believe. I've raced the truck there as well. But yeah, no, traveling is always fun. So.
Denver, you've been quiet over there.
Yes, I have something too, Tim.
I forgot you were here. Hello. Okay.
Hello. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Meg. And I feel like this might be something that Tim has been working at, but I might be wrong with that. But Tim can correct me if I'm wrong. But, what's it going to take to get you up to Speedway Miramichi to challenge Amber and Sam and all the girls in the Powder Puff race?
I've heard about the Powder Puff, the race, the series you got going on there. I'm not sure what this season looks like for us, like traveling wise. I know like if Scotia opens, we're definitely going to hit a couple there. We're definitely going to do IWK 50 weekend. But Miramichi, I don't think I've been there. That's the really, really far one. I can't even guess what the track looks like. But if the opportunity comes up, like you're making it sound real fun. I'd love to give it a try. So.
Tim Terry's coming up on May 15th for the Bando Blast, so you should bring Brett, and he can run the Bando, and then we'll find a Powder Puff car for you.
If we can find Dylan Langell a demo car, I'm sure we can find you one.
So is that how that works? You need like a complete different, like you can't just like bring like, I guess, a Sportsman?
I wouldn't want to put a
Just bring my
Sportsman there.
car.
You can put a Sportsman car out there. The rules are pretty free as long as you have a
Mhm.
helmet and a seatbelt. But your Sportsman car might be a little too valuable to put out there with some of those girls.
Just
Yeah,
make sure if
it's
you get her a car, it's got an alternator belt, because I think we've come across this
Oh,
problem.
don't get Dylan started. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. But if we can find Brittany Hoyt a powder puff car, I'm sure we can find you one. May 15th does sound like a great date, by the way.
If my dad's watching, hey dad, like,
He's
Oh,
watching.
we can find him a demo car too. We can find him a
Yes,
demo
yes.
car too. When's the last time he drove the truck one night, didn't he?
I think he took that out for a heat race.
Yeah.
And he was drifting more than he was actually going straight. That's all you could hear was just tire squeal, tire squeal, tire squeal. But he had fun, so that was that's the most important part. Yeah.
I'm sure we can find Brian a car up there. We're getting close to the end. Greg, social, what do you got?
Brian might have had fun on the track, racing the truck, but I think he had more fun for the Beaverbank 1, 2, 3, because he said Mitch is still partying from that, and obviously Brian has some memories of that night.
Yeah, I can confirm on that. Whenever I come home for the weekends, Mitch has always got a beer in his hand or something, and I'm like, still celebrating that third place win, huh? So
Madison Hill's wondering, what win are you most proud of?
Probably that's that first Sportsman race, just to get that I think it was my 7th race in the Sportsman ever, and it was to get that first win was just like woohoo, yay. But Madison's my best friend. I told her not to watch, so did.
She's watching.
Lovely. I kind of forgot, like, it's just I was trying not to think that we're live, because it's just it's not scary, but it's I now remembered we're live now, so that's lovely. Great.
We're almost at the end, so you almost made it through.
Okay.
Greg, what else are you seeing on social?
That's about all we got.
Okay.
She's slowed down pretty good.
Okay. We got a couple of more minutes left before we head to Sim 500 Trans Service Cup Series. I guess we're starting early tonight, from what I've been told by Paul Strickland. Paul, how close are we on time?
Wrong
Paul
button.
is-
Sorry, wrong button. Yeah,
wrong button.
Those guys are getting ready to do some qualifying, some heat races, and I believe we're coming in to cover the last chance qualifying race here, about 5-10 minutes or so.
Okay, so we will start closing off the show. Meg, we could go on for hours on this, but is there anything in your racing career that we haven't touched on? Memories, anything you want to bring up?
I'm terrible on, like, the spot, guys. Come on. I don't know. Just
Legend Ride with Emily Meehan. We haven't talked about that yet.
Okay. That. When did that happen? Maybe when I was doing that whole identity crisis thing. Like, yeah.
Right before your third glass of wine is when that happened, I think.
Love it here. Okay. That was really fun. I guess the experience was fun, but after that race, I think maybe halfway through that race, I was fairly certain. I was like, I need to tell Dad to stop looking for legend cars, because this just wasn't for me. And I think it was too twitchy. There was no room for forgiveness, I found. And that's just coming out of the trucks and everything, where it was like, I was just so, like, used to, like, the bumping and everything. I was like, you know what, this isn't really like somewhere I want to go. And it's not a thing I thought we could afford either, because, like, money is a big thing in racing. Yeah, and, like, a good legend car, like, aren't they like 20 grand or something? And I was like, there's no way I can, like, ask Dad to, like, cough over 20 grand on a car that I'm just gonna probably flip. So I was like, you know what, the experience was fun, and I'll thank Emily forever for that. But yeah, no, it just wasn't my cup of tea.
We got Andrew Lively on the show last week, moving into a Sportsman car. What kind of advice can you give somebody moving into a late model Sportsman?
He drove Legends before that, correct?
Yep.
Fairly well, too.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, he doesn't. If anything, can he give me advice? Like, okay. He doesn't need my advice. No, he's got a good crew. He's gonna have a good car. He's a good driver. Like, I'll be in his pit stall first race of the year asking for what I can do. So that's all I can say about that.
I guess we'll close off with the one thing we haven't mentioned, and that was the Most Popular Driver Award in 2019. You won the best looking car too, by the way. But I mean, the Most Popular Driver Award, how cool was that to add your name to that list?
I didn't think I was gonna get it, honestly. Like when you posted about it, I was like, okay, this is surprising. But yeah, no, thanks to like everyone that voted the other year, and I got a really cool banner out of it. It's in my room and everything, and I have a banner. It's sitting in the back of my car. I keep meaning to give to Mitch. So Mitch, if you're watching, text me after this.
He hasn't come to me in a little while, so you're safe, I think.
Yeah, no, but that was just really cool. I don't know. It's just a really cool thing to be like added to the long list of people.
We mentioned sponsors a little bit earlier. Is there anybody else that you want to thank, you want to give recognition to before we close this one off for the night?
Yeah, so other than like the sponsors, I can just say them again because, sponsors. But Bunky Hands Insulators, Pachi Motors, Graco Auto Loop Systems. And then for people, I've just really, I got to thank Dad, because first race I won, or any race I win, I always forget to thank Dad. So hey, Dad, like, thank you. Also Mitch Blanchard for the car, and Haas for all like the teachings and like the patience and everything about that. Keith and Kenny, they work on my car religiously, and they're amazing. Bernie for all the help as well. We use his garage. And then Mitch Hopkins, he's always there with lending a hand and a good laugh as well. And Joe Sutherland, his son Dylan Sutherland races. He's our go-to guy for like whenever we're in a jam or anything. He's always there to help.
I think that's pretty much going to do it. Thank you for doing this. This has been a blast. I know we're close on time, so Paul's going to throw up those sponsors on the screen. We want to thank our marketing partners for coming on. We're not going to bring Greg on because I know he's there at the can listen to us. Greg, your final thoughts before we close this off.
I don't have a final thought. I'm just going to let you go.
Oh, okay. You did a great job, by the way. Rookie stripe off. You're more than welcome to come back anytime soon.
Yeah,
Denver,
Dylan needs his beauty sleep.
Yeah, I know he does. Apparently, he's coming back on Thursday. Denver, final thoughts. We'll see you Thursday night for the Easter Bunny Bash Winter Demolition preview show. That's a handful. But are you excited for Thursday night?
I am excited for Thursday night, but right now I think I need a drink after looking at the most up-to-date forecast from Miramichi. So 25 centimeters of snow Friday night and the Saturday sounds like a good time. But yeah, we'll have fun on Thursday one way or another.
That's disgusting. Okay.
I'm glad the border's closed.
Well, we've gone, it's 21 degrees in New Brunswick today, and now we're going to get a foot of snow on Saturday when we, of course, we all know anyone that's ever been involved in racetrack operations knows if you schedule an event, the weather's not going to cooperate. So hopefully that changes. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, looking forward to Thursday night, looking forward to hopefully lining up some guests and announcing them. There's lots of great personalities and great names, but Tim, a fun show tonight.
It's been fun.
Absolutely.
Riley Goodwin was great. Drew MacEachern with the East Coast Mini Stock Tour is great. And Meg might have wine left for you, potentially.
Go make a sandwich.
A quarter of a bottle left, but I'll save some.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us here on Tim's Corner Live, episode number 6. 7 is coming up on Thursday. And then next week, we will have Randy Millar, plus a couple of extra guests. So thank you all for watching. Share this and let your friends know that you were watching some bench racing on Tim's Corner. And we will see you Thursday night. Until then, keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.